Warning. What you are about to see and hear is for entertainment purposes only. The opinions expressed on the show are our opinions and do not reflect the views of BTW21 or its staff. Ladies and gentlemen, Daniel and Chad.
God is looking for someone real. People are looking for something real. Just be real. Welcome to the Be Real, the podcast. We're your hosts, Daniel Lewis, brother Chad Hudson.
Hello.
And also Peckerhead, the chicken that's always overlooking. He's getting a little disturbed today because we have a kitty with us. Have you heard he was actually going to do the intro, or she? Is it a she or he?
We have not. It's neutered.
Oh, it's neutered.
It is.
So it could just be either or. We're used to that on the show. They, them. So anyway, we have some great friends with us here on the show. They come all the way from Patrick County on this dreary day that we're having here. And so we're thankful for them. PAWS of Patrick County. We have Dana and Lynn. Hope I'm getting that right.
Yes.
And so thank y'all for coming out here, and just want to learn a little bit more about you, if you would. Maybe not too personal, but we can get personal if you'd like to. We can just go wherever you want to. That cat is freaking me out, and I love it.
He wants his belly rubbed.
So we have a mechanical cat.
Yeah, actually, this is something that we found. We take it to our events with us when we can't bring an animal. We were just at Front Porch Fest and had a tent set up, and we brought our dog along, which is down there at the end.
There's the
Lynn.
doggy over here.
Yeah,
He's quiet. I like him, but the cat, he's on a roll, literally.
Yeah, but actually, it's a design that's used for actually nursing home patients and patients with dementia.
Yeah,
it provides that comfort, especially if they've had to enter a home like that and have to leave their pets behind.
Right. Yeah.
So it's really cool.
I worked at the Landmark Center up there, and we actually started memory care when I was there, and we had 2 of those cats, and I mean, really, those patients loved animals. And we had some therapy pets that would come up there and visit, sure. But this is something that was there with them all the time, and some of them would kind of just be like, "That's my kitty," and you couldn't get it away from them, and so that was their kitty, and so that was really cool. They loved the cat. Never seen the dog before, so it's cool that y'all got a dog also.
Yeah, he's quiet over there.
He is quiet.
I don't know how to
reset
him.
That's okay. He's fine.
Yeah.
But if he does bark and scare me, y'all just don't laugh too hard. But the cat is doing flips and meowing and purring. And, well, Chad, you had it purring, see?
Oh, I didn't have purring. It's just doing its own thing.
Oh, it's doing its own thing?
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is really cool. Especially for those that, like you said, you can't go everywhere with a pet, unfortunately.
Oh, the kids love it. The kids love coming over. And it's a great way to introduce them into the proper way to meet a pet.
Yeah, that's true. See how they're going to treat it.
Yeah.
Yeah, pulling ears and fur and tails and all kinds of stuff. No, just be nice to it. Well, tell us a little bit about, I guess we'll start with PAWS. Just a little bit of background information, when it started, how it started, or if you don't mind. PAWS of Patrick County, or PAWS Patrick.
Well, I believe it started around, about 20 or 25 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I know, I've heard of it. It's been around for a while.
Yeah, it has been, and Dana and I are kind of new to the organization.
Okay.
We're kind of like revitalizing a little bit.
Now, y'all from Patrick County?
Not originally.
Not
I
originally.
Just moved here.
Oh, really?
I
Cool.
did.
Yeah. So where are you from there?
So I'm from the Virginia Beach, Hampton Roads area.
So you're a Virginia girl.
I'm still Virginia.
Yeah, so you're a Virginia girl. That's
but
cool.
I'm in the mountains now, and I love it.
Oh, I know. I do too.
Yeah.
I love it. Been there my whole life. And where are you from?
Well, originally Long Island.
Oh, wow.
You'll pick that up in the
New
accent.
York.
already
girl.
have.
I heard
You
that.
already knew that.
I heard that a little bit. I was like, that ain't Virginia Beach.
No. Then I moved to the area in 1989 to Floyd County.
Nice.
Yeah, and just moved to the Woolwine area a few years ago.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, neat.
Yeah.
So Long Island to the mountains, that's kind of a big, that's different.
It was real different. But better, way better.
Way better.
Way
Just getting away from all the hustle and bustle. And,
Absolutely.
right. Cool. Yeah. So what got you into PAWS? I guess, of course, love of animals.
Yeah. I've always done volunteer work at different organizations where I lived, and I'm still active in the Floyd County Humane Society.
Nice.
And Patrick County, had this organization, and it seemed like a good thing to be a part of.
Right. Yeah. Big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just went to Dogtown. I think it was Saturday night. They had the fur baby bash.
Oh, I organized that.
Oh, really?
Yes,
well, cool.
I was there.
You was probably there.
I was there. I was at the front with the T-shirts.
Oh man, and
was
I didn't. I walked right past you. Didn't even see you.
Yes, you
yeah, I
did.
met my son up there. He lives in Woolwine,
Okay.
and so him and his girlfriend and fiance, we met him up there, and it was nice to hang out with him, eat a meat lovers pizza. It's a nice little place.
It is.
and it's dog friendly.
It's very dog friendly. We had 5 puppies there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, real cool. Yeah. So a little bit more about PAWS, I guess, if you would.
Now,
Or-
this PAWS is different than the nationwide PAWS, correct? I mean, there's a national PAWS organization. This is something separate.
Correct. This was formed in 2000. It's Patrick Animal Welfare Society, what it stands for.
Okay. Neat. Yeah. So how'd you get involved in it, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, no, I have always loved animal welfare. I was the director of an animal shelter for 7 years, and
Oh, wow.
and started a spay neuter clinic and
Was that
transitioned
in
a shelter to no
Virginia
kill.
Beach?
Actually, in Norfolk, yeah.
Okay, Norfolk.
And just came here and knew I had to get involved somehow, and just started looking on Facebook and found the Facebook page for PAWS, and they were looking for volunteers. And I said, wow, what a great way to meet some people in the community and also help the animals. So
Right.
got involved, and here we are.
Yeah. So y'all been involved. Who else is in there doing it with y'all? Somebody had to get it started, I guess, in 2000. You said thereabouts.
Yeah.
It's been going 24 years.
Yeah, there are some of the original still around,
Okay.
and they are kind of passing the torch in some ways, welcoming new ideas,
Right, right.
and new volunteers, and just trying to regroup a little bit.
Yeah.
And initially it was completely focused on spay neuter. And subsidizing the community, helping people in the community who couldn't afford a full price spay neuter, subsidizing it, finding some low cost facilities in the area and helping out there. And then, we came along and we started visiting the pound, the animal control in Patrick County,
Yeah.
and listening to what they had to say about how animals were ending up in the shelter.
Right.
And it wasn't just, that animals were being born and there were not enough homes. People were having problems feeding their animals.
Yeah.
And that led to a great partnership that we just started recently with the Patrick County Food Bank.
Okay.
Yeah, so we didn't really have an outlet to distribute food, but we had a great source. We were able to work with a company called Gleaning
for the World.
Greening for the World.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah,
And then they help with food?
they
or-
help us with the food. Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, they provide it at a very, very low cost, and it's good quality food. It's really good food.
Right.
And so we just have to drive 2 hours to pick it up.
Oh.
And we get pallets of food, and then we bring it back here, and we have
So worth
volunteers.
the drive.
Absolutely,
Absolutely
for
worth
the
the drive.
price.
Now, where are they based out of? I mean, you said 2 hours, so that.
It's Concord, Virginia.
Okay. Oh, Concord, Virginia.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah,
I
that
think
is a good
that's
little.
near.
That is
Yeah,
right.
that is a good little ride right there. Yeah, so good. Well, God bless y'all for doing all that stuff.
Well, we have
you know.
volunteers, and we're always looking for more. So
Yeah.
we have people in the community who are like, "Hey, I can't be there the day of the event or the day of distribution, but I can come the day before and help package it, or I can go pick up a load of food and bring it back." So
Right.
that's where we rely on the community and more volunteers to kind of fill in the blanks and help
Awesome.
us out.
So hopefully we can reach a lot of folks because I'll be sharing this, and we can. So you need volunteers,
we need volunteers.
and it's not just somebody to pet the animals or love the animals as much as you, but
No.
also to help with the packaging of the food and what
Right.
other volunteer opportunities are there? Just
Well, right now.
just anything and
Well,
everything.
events. I
guess.
mean, the right now like I said, we're getting the word out about who we are and what we do.
Okay.
And so you'll find us at events in the area. So we need people who to man a table.
Okay.
And just to sit there and talk to people who come up and answer questions about some spay neuter resources or where to get the food from the food pantry when we're doing the next food
Right.
distribution. anything like that.
Right. So I guess I was speaking to you because it was Patrick. It was Paul's Patrick, and I didn't know who I was speaking to. I should have asked your name. I'm sorry, but you said that you kind of was coming. Y'all were coming out of hibernation, so you kind of reviving this group.
Correct.
It never went away, but you're
No.
kind of just redoing it, or just
Yeah, we're-
restarting it again and getting more involved in the community and helping the community.
Right, we're just adding more services to the community, like the pet food pantry, and just trying to reach out to people and get the word out. that,
Right.
You know,
And we'll have all your contact information below. If y'all are watching this on YouTube, you can just see below. I'll make sure we get all the links and everything that you need. But you can contact, I guess, Paul's or Patrick. Got a phone number?
we do, it's all on the card also.
Oh, it's on the card, I'll say.
Yeah. But also reach out to us on our through email. That's a great way to get in
Number
touch
one
with us.
thing is the email.
Yep, and that's paws@swva.net.
Okay. I'll have that. I'll have that on there at the bottom also.
And on our Facebook page.
And on our
Yeah, and a Facebook page. It is a good way to get a hold of
It
y'all.
is.
Yeah, it is. It worked out pretty good for us. So thank y'all for coming out here again. So a little bit more, I guess. You got some statistics here. Did I get your cheat sheet, or
No,
you got
we both have them.
You both got the cheat sheet. If you want to read off a little bit of that, or
Lynn, why don't you
whatever
go
you want to do, or tell us about.
Yeah, so just for prefacing it, one of the things we do, it's not just spay, neuter, and all of this, is our ultimate goal is to keep animals from coming into the shelter.
Gotcha.
So whether that's providing food for people so they can keep their animals, or spaying and neutering so there aren't any unwanted litters of puppies and kittens.
Right.
Just finding where those resources are and putting them, giving them to the people who need them, so that we can keep those numbers down in the shelters. And Lynn's going to talk a little bit about what numbers look like across the country.
Right, right. With the spay and the neuter, I know. I'm sorry. I'm just you're opening more doors. I was looking for
Absolutely,
questions.
I could
and
talk
was
all
like,
day.
But you're helping them. Is it through grants or just people that are giving donations, or how does both? So that goes into it. Okay, well that's cool. Yeah. And also, I guess moral support really helps out more than anything. Just talking to somebody. Hey, you don't have to give your animal up. We can help you do this, do that, or whatever.
Right. We also try to promote the dogs and cats at the public shelter
Yeah.
in Patrick County by posting them on our Facebook page, the
Awesome.
pictures.
Yes.
We have one volunteer that goes to the shelter and does really good pictures. She's
Oh,
a
really?
photographer.
Wow.
And so she volunteers to go there. And, it means a lot to get a really good picture of a cat or a dog.
It really
because,
does.
They might only get that chance when
Yeah.
a person is scrolling through.
Right.
And then they
That
see
one
the
chance.
lovey eyes or the tilted head.
So what was the answer at the pound? What was the number one contributor of the overpopulation? Was it people, are they going out and finding these animals in the woods? Or are they people bringing them to the pound and saying, I can't take care of these animals anymore?
All of the above.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, mostly people bringing animals to the shelter who find them. Animal control, I don't think is actively going out and looking unless there's a report. But a lot of people who just have a litter of kittens that are born on their porch, and it's not my cat, and I don't want them to have to stay out here all summer or all winter. So
Right.
they bring them to the pound. Yeah.
Poor little things. Mercy. So anything we can do to help the dogs and
Yeah.
cats.
What's the answer for having less of that? Because you don't want to punish the people bringing the animal to the
Oh,
pound,
no.
right? I mean, they have to have that access to have that facility. But a little bit more elimination of having that. I don't know what would be the answer to deter people from not getting their animals spayed?
Well, I mean, we've got a lot. It's not just, fewer animals in the shelter when you encourage people to spay, neuter, and you share with them the resources, because we do have some low-cost, high-volume spay, neuter clinics in the area. We have some wonderful vets in the area.
Yeah.
And it's just a lot of it is the barrier, is the price of getting it done. People want to do good things. Even if the animal's not theirs, they don't own it and they don't feed, they're just feeding it. They want to be able to provide that service. So we talk to them about spay, neuter. We talk to them about the importance of it. We also talk to them about the other benefits of spay, neuter, which are, pets typically live longer if they're spayed and neutered. They don't have the high incidence of cancer that you see
right.
in other animals. In unaltered animals. Behavior problems. It certainly can contribute to helping with that. An animal that is spayed and neutered typically doesn't want to stray. They're not looking for a mate. They're
Right,
not,
right.
so then they're less likely to be hit by a car or just, running loose.
Right.
And being a nuisance to society.
Well, I worked for Dr. Boyce for 23 years, and dogs would come in hit by a car, attacked by other dogs, or unfortunately shot in the butt. And one thing he'd always ask you, see if he has testicles, because that would be 95% of the cases of, like you said, hit by a car, or attacked by a dog, or shot, or he would still be intact. So he's out there roaming around,
Looking for
sniffing
love in
around,
all the wrong
looking,
places.
looking for love. That's right. So just
It's natural. It's what they do.
to fill in a little bit more what you said, there are once you neuter an animal or neuter a male, he's more in tune with what you want out of the relationship, other than his hormones letting him know what he wants. So it does make a better pet all around to just eliminate that issue.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're not lifting their leg on everything.
Right. That, or if it's a little cat spraying on the walls, or
And if you've ever heard a cat in heat, oh my God.
Oh, God.
Not good.
They will drive you nuts. Literally. But anyway. All right, some statistics, I guess.
Yeah,
You got some,
okay.
that's pretty
So,
cool stuff.
Yeah, well, it's kind of depressing. 7.6 million dogs and cats enter shelters every year.
Mercy.
2.7 million dogs and cats are euthanized. Only 5% of cats and 26% of dogs that are turned into shelters as strays are ever reclaimed.
Mercy.
Yep. Homeless animals outnumber humans 5 to 1.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
90% of pets coming into shelters are not spayed or neutered. More than 25% of dogs in shelters are purebreds.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, a lot of them. Only 1 out of 10 dogs born will ever find a forever home.
1 out of 10.
1 out of 10.
And these are statistics for the United States, I guess.
Yeah, yes. Not
Wow.
Patrick County.
Yeah, not Patrick County. Yeah.
Only 42% of cats and 39% of dogs are adopted from a shelter or rescue.
Oh, man.
those are-
So
those
kind
are
of need to promote.
Very sobering.
Yeah, it is. Need to promote
What
more
I-
rescue.
What I've seen is, you talked about the purebreds. Even if it's not a purebred, even if it's just a great dog, a man will come, or a person will come into the clinic and say, I just want one puppy from him. He's so smart. He's so... Well, chances are that intelligence was learned by the interaction you had with the animal, not inherited.
Right.
But that's what we do run into. I want one litter. Well, it's not just one puppy. It's 7 or 8.
Right. What are you going to do with the other
What are
7?
you going to do with the
6 or
7 or 8?
yeah.
So you
Right.
pick that one puppy that you wanted, and then you have a basket full of puppies down at the pound, or animal shelter, excuse me.
That's terrible. Golly.
It is.
Now, do you see more of the puppies like that, or is it surrenders or strays, or kind of a mixture of everything, or
I think it's a mixture.
Mixture.
In a lot of rural counties, there are no leash laws,
right?
and so that kind of complicates
So
things.
strays are probably the biggest.
Well, and what you run into at these shelters are not only, these purebreds or these dogs that people bred, but now they're a year old or 7 months old. They're no longer that cute little puppy that everybody wants. So now you have to pick an animal that you have to backtrack in training because it's already set in its ways, or it was out in the backyard running around and it's more wild than it is a nice, beautiful pet, So that
Right.
I've noticed that as well.
I got a couple of rescues, and those are the best ones that I've ever had.
Oh, aren't they?
They are
Aren't they?
awesome.
They're like so appreciative.
They
It's like
are. They're a
they
little
know.
sketch. I mean, they're what the kids would say, sketchy. They're a little sketch, of things. But I mean, it makes them more aware. They've been actually easier to train because they are sketchy of things. They've grown accustomed to us and been, of course, more laid back and relaxed and stuff like
Except
that.
when I come over.
Except when he comes over and he smells like 20 different dogs and cats, and they're like, "Oh no, I know where your fingers have been." So it's I know what you cut off today. So stay away from me. But anyway, no, they love him. He's the vet for them. But anyway, it's I love them to death, but I encourage anybody, especially if you're watching, to please go look at the rescue, because I see so many, and people have tried to. I run the Lost and Found of Patrick County page. So many people are trying to rehome them, and it's just a $500 fee to rehome them, or I'm selling these puppies for $1,000 a piece, and I'm like, you can go over there to the pound and get $1,000 would last that puppy its whole life unless it has some major medical issues.
Well, you could get it spayed. You could afford to get it spayed.
You can afford to get it spayed. You can give it a great life. You could feed it for 7 years on $1,000. Probably more than that, actually. Really good food. But I mean, it's just amazing what people will spend on a little puppy just because they want that breed or whatever it is. Not speaking against it, but it's just like all these other ones that are definitely needing homes that would cost you, way less, and you'd probably have a better pet.
Well,
just saying.
At the Patrick County Public Animal Shelter, the adoption fee is $10, and then you get a free spay or neuter.
Thank you. That's what I was getting ready to ask.
Yeah.
So it's $10. You can't beat
$10
compared to $1,000. I mean, it's amazing.
And they will be spayed and neutered before the owner picks it up.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that just, I don't know. I'm just, just rethink it. I know kids, certain people like Labradors, certain people want Chihuahuas, but if you just wait, give it a chance, you'll see something pop up there that really needs, it's already been born, it needs a home. You don't have to wait on it. You can go get it today or sometime during the work week and save you 10 times more money, and you can put that money towards maybe even getting 2.
Yep.
Or 3, whatever you can do. If you got a couple of kids. We took off one time and when I was younger, we had a dog that was murdered by a pit bull, and that's okay. Well, it wasn't okay, but anyway, it happens. And we went and got a mini Dachshund, and was just, Dad wanted to get us a dog kind of to relieve us. We were younger. My sister was way younger, 3 years younger than me, and I was young. And got a mini Dachshund. We ended up getting 2 of those things. Some of the best dogs ever. I love mini Dachshunds. Never had a Dachshund. This was a Cocker Spaniel, got killed. And those mini Dachshunds, they lived with us. One was 18, one was 14, and they were 2 girls. They were twins, and I loved them to death. But we didn't spend a lot of money on them. Went and saved them. They had a great home. They lived for a very, very long time. Locke was their veterinarian for their whole lives, and just loved them to death. So I mean, there's a lot of good animals, a lot of good dogs and cats. Sorry, I always leave the cats out. I don't mean to. I'm not a cat person, so I do. But nothing against cats, but I just not a cat person. So y'all speak up for the cats.
Okay,
Y'all help cats too, right?
We'll convert you before the show.
Okay,
How about
good.
that?
Good,
Yeah.
because I need some converting. I've just never been a cat person.
We'll let you
I
foster
love
a
all
little
animals.
kitten. Yeah.
Dang skunks, squirrels, all of them. I want to save them all. I don't even want to hit a squirrel in my car. But I'm just not a cat person, but I'll try to be.
But I tell you what,
I'll
on our
speak
Facebook
for 'em.
page. Look at the pictures. Look at the pictures from the animal control animal shelter. There's this beautiful dog right now, Lady. She's a yellow lab. She
Really?
was found in August. Nobody ever came forward to claim
Oh,
her,
man.
and she's looking for a home right now. Just over, and I could go through over and over the great animals that are at the pound right now.
Right. I wish we'd got some of those pictures. What I should have done is brought those, asked you for some of those pictures so we could do. But they can go on the Facebook, like you
Absolutely.
said. Go to the animal shelter, either Henry County or Patrick County Animal Shelter.
Absolutely.
And see how many.
The animals don't know borders. They all need homes.
Right. They all need homes. They all need help. And like you said, $10 to adopt them. I mean,
it's great
that's
price.
just, what a blessing that is.
Yeah.
Now, does they still, I think it's Clark Foundation or whoever, the shelter's actually named after her, right? The Judge Clark's mom or
right.
somebody?
Yes.
I never did know the full context of all that, but I know she always loved animals and put a lot of money into it and stuff like that. So is there still grants or donations? I mean, how's it so cheap?
I do believe that there's an anonymous donor
Anonymous donor, okay.
that does that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so we're just going to leave it at that.
Yeah.
God knows. That's all that matters. Yeah, so that's a major thing. Any other questions you want to ask them, Chad? I'm kind of getting lost over here, but anything y'all want to talk about? Or
Wow,
there's some more. We got some more facts.
Absolutely.
lost
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Having a conversation.
We are. I know. I'm always like, I got to. I was on the radio for 8 years. So
I'm the
like,
one drinking coffee.
well, another Another thing we want to talk about how animals end up the shelter is them not having proper identification.
There
and
you
that's
go.
another
Okay,
perfect
cool.
thing that we want to promote. When we sit together and we brainstorm about what else can our organization do, we start thinking about maybe we can do a microchip clinic or a rabies
Well, that's
clinic.
what I was going to say. Your pup over there's got a rabies shot and a microchip.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's why one of the things we do when we bring this dog to our events is we talk about the importance of identification, because some of the statistics that Lynn mentioned is just the poor number of animals, the few number of animals that actually get reclaimed from a shelter. Our shelters in Virginia are required to hold a stray for 10 days. I believe it's 10 days if they have a collar and tags, and only 5 if they don't. But what's even more important is
5 days hold. Now, what do you mean? After 5 days, it's
if the shelter needs to make space, they can euthanize that animal.
really
Yeah.
after
Or
5
they could give it up
days?
for.
Or they can put it up for
or
adoption, sure. But I mean, when we're just
Code
seeing,
red or something when it's super
you'll
full.
see
They got
that. You're
so
right. And right now shelters are just at their max capacity.
I've seen that,
It's
yeah.
just I don't know that we've ever quite recovered from 2020 and COVID. We had a lot of animals that were adopted during COVID when people were at home, and then everybody went back to work, and animals were once again turned into shelters. And then to compound the problem, we started seeing that fewer and fewer students were going to vet school.
right.
And so veterinary care is
And the
hard to
ones
come
that
by.
do go to vet school get picked up by corporate, and they're not fooling around with spays and neuters. They're they're
Right.
doing
They've got-
cancer curing, and that's where the money is in veterinarian.
Money,
nowadays.
money,
Yeah, they got those student loans to pay back too.
Yeah,
right.
well,
Sure.
exactly. I'm not saying it's their fault.
No, they've gotta make a living
it's a
too.
whole big problem there.
It is
Yeah.
super huge problem.
Yeah, so
Mercy.
addressing so all of the roots of the problems. A lot of times our communities tend to point to our animal services and our animal controls and blame them, but it's really the community
It is.
that really needs to step up and help be a part of the solution. And it can be just as simple as making sure your dog is either microchipped or has collar and tag, so that
Right.
when they are turned into animal control, they can hopefully be readily identified and returned back to the owner and not take up precious space in the shelter.
That's what I love to. Well, go ahead.
The microchip isn't placed under the skin of the dog, or cat.
Cats
I guess
too,
cats
yeah.
too. We keep on forgetting the cats. The dogs are cats, and what that does is immediately every shelter, every veterinary clinic has a chip reader. It's not going. We have a lot of people that come into the clinic and say, "Well, can I set it up on my phone and track my?" It's not a tracking device, but what the chip does is give a number, and that number's registered, and it has the registrar's name on it. If the dog's been altered, has it been spayed or neutered, and maybe a medical card if it has any, if it's on medication. Because there's a lot of dogs that get lost on medication that need that medication now.
Oh yeah, I bet. Cool.
So it has that list. But that's how we keep track of, this is that person's responsibility. This is that person's dog. So you could go back and
Is that chip normally put in a certain place, or is it just going to be anywhere?
usually
or-
Between the shoulder
in
blades.
between the shoulder blades.
Oh, shoulder blades.
over
Okay,
here.
right there.
Now, when we scan for a chip, we do
Full
cover
body.
the full dog, because they will migrate, and if you got it on a real hefty animal, it will go in the fat sometimes and migrate down. So we do scan the whole animal, but they're all in place there.
On the back.
Yeah,
Huh. Cool.
we got the 2-minute warning.
We did get the
We're gonna
2-minute
take a
warning
break.
about a minute and a half ago, so we're going to take us a break. We'll be back. Greatly appreciate y'all again. Laid back afternoon here with the gals from PAWS of Patrick County.
I'm gonna make sure
I just
Daniel
keep-
wasn't in my coffee. Anyway, we'll be back.
We'll be back.
If you get a chance, hit that subscribe button. We appreciate it.
And we're back. Thank you for joining us here on Be Real, the podcast. We're your hosts again, Daniel Lewis, Chad Hudson. We have some nice ladies with us from the PAWS of Patrick. Well, I still can't get that right.
PAWS Patrick, Virginia.
PAWS
Yeah.
Patrick, Virginia. There you go. Look them up on Facebook. And if you'd like to subscribe to us here on YouTube, if you're watching us on YouTube, we greatly appreciate that too. You probably just heard that. And or just share it. Yeah, we got a lot of interesting guests every week, every Thursday, 8 o'clock. You can join us on YouTube and see people locally. You know, there's tons and thousands of podcasts out there. But it's kind of a national thing and a lot of political stuff. We try to stray away from that. We want to support and promote local people, local businesses, local artists, local foundations, local organizations, just anybody and everybody. If you're interested, you play an instrument, or if you're just interested to talk to, maybe you've seen Bigfoot or a UFO, please let us know. And
Daniel wants to see a UFO.
I want to see a UFO. I'm 46 years old and I've never seen a UFO. I know. Have y'all ever seen a UFO? It's kind of off topic. Oh, really? Sure. Let's talk
There's a little one in the Outer Banks of North Carolina. Have you ever seen that? It's like in 19...
Oh, you've seen the little one?
Yeah, well, that counts, doesn't it?
It does count. Yeah. There used to be one on 58 going toward the Virginia Beach. There's a little UFO. But anyway, what?
We took pictures.
A couple of times you've seen Starlink go over. You might think that, that when they launched the satellites.
That was creepy
that
too.
Is, if you don't
That's
know.
something new age. Yeah, you look up and you see all them lights in a row and going across the sky. It's like, what in the world? I've seen the International Space Station a couple of times, and I'm like, oh, please let it. No, that's that International Space Station. But you got to think this thing's bigger than a skyscraper, and it's floating above the Earth. It's just crazy. I mean, that's wild. The area. I mean, the age that we live in. It's just crazy. It's wild. But anyway, back to the pets. This is the main thing that we're trying to.
How can people help you all if they just want to help? I know we talked about volunteers. There's several shows that we have done here, and volunteers seem to be the thrive behind the wheel there, you know, that to help things move along.
Right.
Well, we have on our Facebook page, we have a link to that place called Chewy, that company called Chewy, the one with all the pet food.
Oh, yeah, Chewy.com. Yeah,
Right, yeah. And so people could just click on that and donate some of the cat and dog food that we use for our pet food pantry.
Oh, really?
And it's just an easy way to make a donation.
Yeah.
Just by doing that.
Now, do y'all have a building or a place or? Okay.
We
The
are
other
all
people in there,
volunteers.
that's okay.
Yeah, we're all volunteers.
Right.
So some of us have full-time jobs, and we do this on the side.
Yes. Now, we just had an interview last Tuesday that got a lot of views, and they didn't have a place either. I mean, it's just volunteer people that cared about what they were doing,
Right.
and they had it going on. So somebody that's not really in tune with internet, if they're watching us on YouTube, maybe that's the only thing they know how to do is get on YouTube and watch. How could they support y'all monetary wise, or can they go to Walmart and buy food and bring it somewhere?
Absolutely. Yeah. They can buy food.
First
and bring
contact
it to
y'all.
Give us a contact. Let us know, because we are working with the food bank in Patrick
Okay.
County. So that's kind of where they're holding the food until our distribution days.
Nice.
Right.
And we're always looking for more locations who will be a drop off for us.
That's nice.
Yeah. So anybody who wants to volunteer, maybe a store in Stewart that has some space that would say, hey, yeah, people can bring a can of cat food or dog
Right.
food or something like that. And always reach out to us. Look for us at events. We're going to really be hitting the events hard coming up. And look for our booth. Look for
So
our
you got
tent.
the Apple Dumpling Festival coming up, I believe.
Absolutely, Apple Dumpling Festival. Yeah.
So a lot of good things going on at Stewart. So I'll be looking for those booths.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, cool. Well, tell us a little bit more. First, before we get any further, you did share a couple of pictures with me, so I wanted to show those. If Grace will put those up there and just let us look over them and tell us what's going on here. This, I think, was an event that y'all had. It was like DeHart Park, I think, maybe.
Yeah, that was Front Porch Fest.
Oh, Front Porch Fest. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So this is kind of what your setup will look like if they go somewhere at an event in around Patrick County.
Right.
Yeah, look for the psychedelic cat.
This is not Floyd. This is Patrick County. So anyway, they can talk to you there, get all the information, meet y'all, because they've seen y'all on YouTube now, and BTW21 in Martinsville. And so they can meet y'all and also, of course, drop food off there or get any information that you might have or how to volunteer, which is, I think, the most important thing that you're
Absolutely.
looking for.
We need more hands and more bodies.
It is
Absolutely.
hard, I know, extremely hard to get volunteers around in this area.
This was at the Patrick Food Bank. This was one of the distribution days. You could see pallets of the food behind us.
Yeah.
And people drive up, because they're all in a line to get their food. And they drive up, and I go over to the car and I say, well, do you have a cat or a dog? And they'll say, well, I have 3 cats and 5 dogs, whatever. And we give them
Nice.
Yeah,
Well,
we
that's
give them
great.
the appropriate amount
Yeah.
of food, and then I also say to them, and have your pets been spayed or neutered yet?
Yeah.
And then if they say no, I give them a card, one of our cards here, and I say, well, you call that number or email us, and
Yeah.
we'll give you
Wow.
subsidy
Well, neat.
if they qualify.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Now, not only do we have the Patrick County Food Bank, but we got Disaster Relief Food Ministry. Have y'all ever been in contact with any of
It's
them?
funny. I
or-
just saw their page on Facebook today, and I was like,
Yeah.
wow, maybe that's another outlet that we can
Yeah.
distribute food.
Because they do it, I think, every other Thursday. I think they had a little delay in this month, not on their fault, but it was something going on with Southwest Feeding America, I believe, Southwest Feeding America. And so, yeah, that would be another. I mean, they do huge distributions up there at Rotary Field on Thursdays. They have a senior week, I believe, and then they have, normal week where people can come up there. So, yeah, cool. We can get you a hold of them real easy.
Absolutely.
We've had them on the show, Jimmy and Carol Willard, really good friends of mine. I love them to death. And so, yeah. And
What
I
a
know.
partnership, because, if people are in need of food for themselves, well, of course, they're going to be in need for food for their pets.
Right. And we don't want the
What a
pets to go hungry at all
Absolutely.
whatsoever. So, yeah, I think that was only a couple pictures that you showed me, but y'all are getting things going on. It's good to see the little
We are.
event thing going on there. So,
We are.
That's the way to get the word out. I mean, there's, like Apple Dump Front Porch Fest. There's a
Yeah.
lot of people that come through there.
Yeah, and
so
some of
that's
the
good
some
too.
of the farmers market events in Stewart, we want to get back involved with that when
Yeah.
when the season comes back around. But I think there's an event for Halloween. so-
Spooktacular.
yeah, so we're always looking for places, and we need people. Lynn and I can't do it all,
Right.
so we need people to volunteer. Just
Right.
to we'll show you the ropes. We'll give you the spiel.
and there was something, I mean, I did say earlier, and I kind of caught myself right after I said it when we started talking about something else. It is hard to get volunteers, but for some reason in Patrick County, there are a ton of good-hearted people that are just looking for opportunities to volunteer. And I know by also me working at Boyce Island Veterinary Services that there is a ton of people that love their animals.
Yep.
Just like me, I kind of love my animals more than I do some humans. Just saying. But I mean, they're really willing to do a lot of things for animals, especially those that are in need. Like like I told you earlier, I run the Lost and Found Patrick County. We have tremendous amount of shares on there when somebody's missing their animals, and I'm so grateful that it's free. All you gotta do is hit share and share it on your own personal page, and they keep sharing. They're trying to help others reunite their furries with their families, and that just means so much to me that people have that heart for little furry things, the dogs and the cats, that love us unconditionally,
Well,
and they're looking for something unconditionally.
Daniel, you put on a post, a dog got hit by a car a couple weeks ago. I was on my way back to work and actually seen it happen in front of me.
Oh God!
The guy stops and tries to pick up the dog off the street, and it's biting him. The state trooper comes flying in because he stopped on 58, and now there's a line of traffic. I picked up the dog, and within an hour, there was 20 people saying, "Is it up for adoption? Can we help with medical bills?"
Wow.
And it was amazing just to see, with just a short period of time, how many people wanted to help. So if we could
Not
help,
even knowing the dog.
if we could help get the word out to what y'all are doing, I'm
Yes.
sure that they'll just grab onto, and hopefully you could find some volunteers.
Absolutely. That's what we love about this community. It is there's so many animal lovers in this
It
community,
is.
and everybody, it's neighbor helping neighbor.
Yes.
And that's what I love about living here. The other thing, we talk about trying to keep animals out of the shelter through spay neuter, through
Yes.
identification, neighbors helping neighbors. That Lost and Found Facebook page is a tremendous help, because if we can get those animals reunited with their owners before they even have to enter the shelter, that's one less animal that our animal control officers have to help. The other thing, though, we do is we like to partner with the shelter when we can, ask them what they need in terms of taking care of the animals while they're there. And one of the projects that we've started is a project with the Caranda Bed Company.
Okay.
And basically, we've got a bed down here. I don't know if you can
Yeah.
pick that up.
Chad's
But
got it
basically,
going
what
on.
it is it's like a little hammock. It's a way for the dogs, especially
To get off the concrete.
to get off the concrete, to be a little more comfortable. If they have to stay there, they don't have to lay on the cold concrete floor.
Right.
And it's, if they have to be there, let's make it as comfortable for them as possible. So we have this
Right.
project with Caranda Beds, and you can actually go to their website. You can, we have a link on our Facebook page as well, and you can purchase a Caranda bed for the shelter, and they will
Yeah.
ship it directly to the shelter and send
Oh,
you a nice
wow.
little thank you. It's, they're about $100 to $150. The ones that we have at the shelter are a little bit more sturdy, and I think they're stainless steel, so they're easier to clean and disinfect.
Right.
So it'd be a great project for like a Scouts organization or
Ain't
a
that the
church,
truth?
or somebody
Yeah.
have a bake sale, raise the money and as a group maybe make that contribution to the shelter.
Right.
So, as much as we want to avoid the animals having to go to the shelter, if we can at least make it.
There's going to be
tolerable.
ones that go.
Yeah,
I
there
mean, you got
are,
to face
so-
reality.
There
and
are,
know
yeah,
that there's ones
yeah.
that are going.
Right.
And to sleep on the concrete floor, I mean, you really don't think about that.
Right.
I mean, unless you're the one doing it. So I mean, that does hurt my heart. So I mean, that's great that they can, get off the stinking floor.
Right.
And I know I've seen them with even with a rug or a little blanket or something like that. That's still, God, if you've ever slept on a concrete floor, and I have, just out of nothing, not necessity, but things that I've got into that I've had to sleep on the floor. But a concrete floor is not a good place to sleep. And so a little dog or a big dog, they could get up there. I've never thought about that before. So that's cool. It's kind of like an air bed, really.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, something.
So the little things that make a difference.
Little things that make a difference.
Right.
So you're feeding them, you're bedding them, and just hopefully we can find them a home. That's the main thing.
$10 adoption
You
fee.
can't beat that whatsoever at all. Now, what else have we covered everything that PAWS does, or
Well, and this
know
is
there's
just
1,000
this is
more
just,
things,
Yeah, this
but
is
I-
just the tip of the iceberg. And like I
Right.
said, meeting people and getting new volunteers in the organization, we get new ideas, and the community to tell us what is the problem,
need.
what is the need, what is going to keep you and your animals together. So we're looking for resources. We're looking for does anyone have any dog training experience?
Right.
Those are things that might keep an animal in the home. Behavioral issues, especially dogs.
Right.
We tend to see, can we start a group of dog obedience trainers that can help the community start having some obedience classes? Maybe Boyce Highland can
We can help
offer some
do
space.
things.
yeah,
You guys are doing so much already for us. You are helping us out a little bit with some spay neuters, and we really appreciate that. And where
Well,
in
we
the
would like
community-
to do more, and I'd like to speak on this real quick. It goes back to what you were saying, the veterinarians. 4 years ago, we lost our captain, and that Lock Boyce could bust out 20 spays a day and still see the people who need medical help throughout in between those spays and neuters. What we have now is we are busing in veterinarians from other communities to keep our facility up and running until Dr. Boyce's son graduates from vet school, which will be here in another 3 years. He's booking through college like it's no tomorrow. I mean, he's got Locke's smarts, his ability to just know
Ambition.
it, and he has his ambition. But back to what I was saying, so we're busing in these veterinarians. We have some that come from West Virginia. We have some that come from Floyd. We have some. So none of the veterinarians
that's not local at all.
none of the veterinarians that work at Boyce and Holland are from our community. So we end up having to pay them a little bit more than what we would be able to if one was living in our community. We could subsidize with housing or this. So we're paying a lot of money to have these doctors come in, and then we're having a hard time coming up with the ability to help people in groups like y'all, because the overhead for a doctor that at that rate, and then what it costs to spay and neuter. What I was trying to get,
Inflation and everything else.
Everything else, we will be helping more in the future when doctors come in. But we do what we can now, and I'm appreciative of you guys and what you do. But know that it's not lack of ambition to help you all, but it's a lack of doctors.
Sure.
Right now, when we have a doctor come in, if you drive past Boys Holland, there is a parking lot full. The field across the way there is full of cars with people that need medical help. So it's hard to get in, and say, okay, we're not going to treat these people today because we're going to do 10 spays at a cheaper cost than what I could actually bring the doctor in for. But we're not done helping. Our hands are kind of tied at the moment.
They are tied, yeah. Big time.
But it will change in the future. Just let you know. We'll be there.
We
We'll help
appreciate
out.
anything you can do, and we certainly, like that. And that's the other thing is, the spay neuter is, as it is with human health care in Patrick County, you have to drive, in order to get a
Right.
low-cost spay neuter.
And there's a wait.
In the high volume.
And the expense is ridiculous.
Yeah, 45 minutes is probably a short distance, and then you're talking maybe further to Roanoke with
Right.
Angels of Assisi that help us. And, it's just, it's a challenge. And so
is.
what we're doing with our revitalization, our revamping, is we're looking to put those people with monetary resources together with people who just have the heart to help.
Yes.
And maybe getting folks in our community to sponsor a spay neuter or sponsor a clinic day,
There
even
you
better,
go. Right.
and have those resources be used. A lot of people might have not a lot, but some people might have the resources but not have the time to invest in volunteering
Yes.
or not be able to take on another animal. Well, let's match those resources with somebody who has the time
Has
to
the time.
volunteer or has the time to take on a project with animals. So
And that's the most precious thing is your time. I mean, money's great. I mean, everybody loves money. Yeah. But, the time is the most precious thing. And I think we're getting into a generation to where people are kind of looking out for themselves instead of looking out for others. I don't want to start getting into that. But then we have the older generation and the generations that came before us that are just have the heart of the volunteer. That's where the Red Cross comes in. That's where hospice volunteers come in. That's where all these other organizations where the volunteers have always been there. And then all of a sudden we get here to where it's some of these folks have to get out here 2 or 3 jobs just to make what they did make in the 80s. Just to survive. At one time there was dad could go work and mom could stay at home with the kids. That ain't been since the late 50s, 60s. That started changing immediately. So I know a time is the most precious thing. So anybody's got any time to volunteer, those are the people that I think are just a blessing, not only to the community, but definitely to the animals and to just everything. So I'm so thankful for our volunteers. So if you just got the time, that's great. If you got the monetary and you don't have the time, like she just said, that'd be great too. Any which way you can give and help these little furry friends out. So thankful. Yeah, so thankful. Yeah. They all need a home. And when you look into their eyes, you can see them. That's what you was talking about, the ones that can take the good pictures. I see these pictures on, I wish I was Elon Musk. I'd have just a whole ranch full of just, I'd hire people just to take care and just let them run free and they can just do whatever they want. We went to Doggos down in Greensboro and there was just dogs in there running around in circles. People would bring their dogs there and they were just having a good time running around and frisky free with everybody. And I was just sitting there thinking at one point while we were down there, man, those ones that are sitting there in that cage, just sitting there on that concrete going, I would just like to have a little friend with me, or somebody to say, hey, and pet me, it breaks my heart. It's hard to do it. So spay and neuter, number one, spay and neuter, please, for the health of the animal, for the life of the animal, and to not have any more, to where it's getting overwhelming for everybody. And also before you purchase one or get one, make sure you can afford one.
Right.
Because those, I know a lot of people getting health issues or they move And unfortunately, they make the sacrifice of I can't have an animal, so I have to surrender it. But then there's other people that will get one, and their kids kind of go into something else. Oh, they like dinosaurs. They liked dogs last month, but they like dinosaurs now, so we got to give the dog up. That's ones I get ridiculous on, because it's like, this is a life. This is a life, and it's unconditional love. So please think about it. Don't let it be just an instant, oh, I got to get this. You know, it's not a this, it's not a that, it's not something else on the shelf. It's a life. And look into their eyes, and you'll see that they love you unconditionally no matter what you do to them. And I love them to death.
Yeah, and they give us so much more back.
Oh, gosh,
Yeah.
10 times more
Yeah,
back.
I mean, there's studies that show that, you know, they actually help with relieving stress. That they
Yeah.
lower your blood pressure.
Yeah, they
Just
do.
petting a cat. Just
Man,
lowers your blood pressure.
mine have helped me through my life experiences. I've had all kinds of stuff. Everybody has things going on in their life. I've had a one heck of a life, 46 years old, and I've had dogs throughout my life. And I'm telling you, if I didn't have those dogs, I probably wouldn't be here. I mean, they've been a comfort to me that where I could talk to them. And now I got ones, I sing to them in the morning and talk to them. And there's times that I cuss them out too, but no. Well, maybe, but I mean, I just, not mean. But I just love them to death. They're part of the family.
Absolutely.
And
You
I
hit the
told
nail on the
Chad, if
head,
I
yeah.
lost my house, man, it'd be me and 3 Chihuahuas living under 124 pine tree. That would be our address. I'm going to live under a pine tree before I'd ever move to where I could not have my pets. But I know not everybody feels that way.
Well, another thing that people can do, and we don't often think about this, is when we get older, if we can't any longer care for our pets, then we need to think about, where is this pet going?
Right.
And, you know, just planning for the future.
Planning for the future.
Yeah. We get a lot of calls, you know, where people say, oh, I have to surrender this dog because I'm going into assisted living or a
Right.
nursing home.
Yeah.
And that's
That's
something
something,
to
yeah,
think
they,
about.
you know, I mean, that's unplanned too. And don't feel bad about that. I mean, if it happens, it happens. I understand life circumstances come up. I got my first Chihuahua. I never thought I'd owned a Chihuahua. Oof. I really didn't care for the breed of Chihuahua. But my mother-in-law, she got a Chihuahua. One of her granddaughters gave it to her, and she knew she was passing away. But then she made arrangements,
Right.
which actually was with me, to take care of my family, to take care of the Chihuahua. And if something happened to her, would I take the Chihuahua? And I'm like, oh my God, I got to have a Chihuahua. So I got the Chihuahua, and actually ended up being something that is totally opposite than you would think of a yappy. First time people hear me saying that I got a Chihuahua, "Oh, you got one of them old yappy anchor biters. And I'm like, no, she's not like that at all. She's actually one of the best dogs I've ever had. Super smart, smarter than the other two that I have. And I mean, she's just a great friend.
Yeah.
And she's been with me for 12 years now. And she's I love her to death. I wouldn't trade her for nothing.
And a lot of times people, you know, older people, if they want to get a pet, they could adopt a senior pet.
Yeah, there you
Because
go.
there's a lot of them at the
A
shelters.
ton of them.
And they get overlooked all the time.
Overlooked.
Yep.
Because everybody wants that little, like somebody was talking about the puppy earlier. Everybody's cute, you know, like up until about 7-8 months, and then it's a dog then. But the cuteness of it. But them older ones are great dogs too.
They are great.
Little lap dog, you know, it loves you and unconditionally, always somebody there to wag their tail and be with you all day long. And they'll lay there and watch TV with you and all the Fox News you want to watch. Or CNN, whatever's your preferred. Now, Chad, there's something I wanted to ask you earlier. You looked at that dog and you knew he was it by the tags? Chipped and neutered? Okay,
So you get one of those free of charge when you get one of those shots.
So
You
there's
get
a yellow
rabies
one and
shot,
there's
you
an
get a
orange one.
tag, And
Is
then
that-
if you get the house one there, that's
the house one
that's
is
the chip.
That's the
It
chip.
should have the chip number on it.
It does. Yeah, it has
And a phone number to call, because, you know, if an
Oh,
animal's
it's got a
chipped,
phone
you
number.
wouldn't know it unless there was some way to identify it. So if I find a dog on the side of the road and I see that tag, I'm going to know that that dog is probably microchipped. And
Yeah.
there's a number on that tag where I can call and say, hey, I found this dog. And they will get on the phone. I think if I'm correct, Chad, they'll get the microchip company will get on the phone and make contact with the registered owner.
Really?
They won't necessarily put you directly in touch with them, but they'll get in touch with the owner and kind of facilitate
how-
everything.
The only problem we have faced with the chip is people not registering the chip. They'll get a chip, they'll get the paperwork, they'll get the tag number, they'll get a phone number, what to call, and they're
Never registered.
I don't know if they're lazy. I mean, and then they never register it. So then that has come up quite a bit. Now the rabies shot, I don't know if that's from Boyce Holland. It's from somewhere, but should have a number of a phone number where the shot was given.
Okay.
And there's a number on there as well.
An identification number.
Identification number, and
That shows
should
it
have
just got the rabies shot.
It's got the rabies shot. Should have where it got the rabies shot, who gave it, and the owner.
Okay.
Some paperwork somehow.
Right.
Even into the most counties, you have to register the rabies shot, and they'll be able to give you information there too. So there's a lot of information on that little.
Just that little bitty thing right
That
there.
little thing there.
That's cool. Well, I'm born and bred in Patrick County, so my dogs run around naked. They don't have collars, but they do have these to where I can easily get them just in case. But it's best to leave it on the dog, right? It's best to have it on the dog, especially if they're outside dog. Mine are inside. They go out, do their business, come back in, maybe chase a ball or two or a squirrel. Other than that, they're back in the house. But if you're,
It just eliminates a bunch of guessing games.
It does.
There's its tag. It's
no, what is a
classic.
chip? What does a chip cost? Let me just ask that because it's something I don't know. Mine are not chipped. Do you know right offhand? Sorry to throw it on you. Do y'all know?
I do.
Okay, sorry.
Most of the clinics will do them. The low cost spay neuter clinics will do them for $20-$25.
Oh God! So that's super cheap.
And it's like this. It's like the size of a grain of rice.
Yeah, I've seen
It's
them,
tiny,
and I've seen it
tiny.
done.
The needle's big, but
Yeah, I remember when Locke was doing it, and I've even seen the little scan machine. But I never asked, how much it is. Mine are not chipped. I mean, I'm like a watchdog. Mine are the only dogs that go out and piss. Mine are the only dogs that go out and pee at night. And they're protected by a Glock 19. I mean, because there's coyotes and everything
Absolutely.
that's wanting to grab them. They're little bitty dogs. And so I'm always got an eye on them. They don't go outside unless I'm with them outside or one of my family. And so it's, but yeah, anybody that's got a dog that's out there running around, because I've seen dogs, in the neighborhood running around. I'm like, who's that belong to? So you got to kind of keep an eye on them. But if they got this
There's
right here,
a lot of things that send dogs off running. I mean, especially you see a big increase in numbers around the 4th of July.
yeah, mine hate fireworks. Anything loud.
This time of year, people are scoping in their guns, getting ready for hunting season, and it will scare a dog off, and it could run a mile without it even knowing which direction it ran.
Right.
And so that collars on your dogs are good things, even if it's just outside for a little bit. Something could scare it off, and next thing you know, your dog's 4 miles or down the road or something.
They can go a good distance.
They could run.
They can run. They can run faster than me. Mine do. They do listen well, but they're fast.
And I've heard stories of animals and owners being reunited after like 8-10 years.
Right. Ain't that wild?
Just because the animal ends up in a shelter, they scan it and they track
Boom.
it back to an owner that's been looking for it for years.
Right.
And those are some tearjerkers when you see those stories
You ain't
out of animal
kidding.
shelters.
And that's
Yeah.
pretty much priceless. I mean, when you told me $20-$25, I mean, even 50, or if it's 100, I mean, that'd be totally worth it to me to be able to find my loved one again. I mean, it's part of my family. I consider my kids.
Yeah.
I mean, I really do. My daughter's like, what are they to me if they're your kids? That's your brothers and sisters.
Now, generally,
I love 'em to death.
you're getting a little bit of discount on that $20 chip.
Absolutely.
That's almost probably at cost, if not a little, maybe $1 or $2.
Well, that's great.
To have that doctor in place.
Yeah.
So
That's great.
Yeah, yeah, but
Yeah.
every little bit helps, and,
Oh,
and just,
absolutely.
anything to make sure that the animals get back home.
Amen.
Yeah, one of the things we worked on in another shelter I worked for had a free ride home program. So if your animal had an identification collar, tags, microchip, and that animal was picked up, the animal control officer would take it back home.
Oh,
and so
wow.
those are the kinds of things we talk about. How can we make these things better and easier for our animal control officers and for our community? When people are doing the right thing, they're getting them spayed and neutered, they're getting them microchipped and keep identification on them,
Right.
to get them back home.
Nice.
Yeah.
and vaccinated. For
And
rabies.
vaccinated.
Vaccinated.
Absolutely.
Number one.
The parvo and the Bordetella vaccines, all those are great vaccines, but the rabies shot to a pet is the boundary from wildlife to humans. That's how humans get
Never thought
contact
about
with
that.
rabies.
Right. Yeah.
Now there's the occasion where a rabid fox will come running out of the woods and bite somebody. But usually, that the barrier that they create is what protects us as well.
Right.
Because here in Patrick County, Floyd, or any area in here, there's rabies out there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just some old John Wayne, or John Wayne wasn't in that movie. It's not just Old Yella.
Somebody got bit.
It's not just Old Yella, some old time. I mean, rabies is real.
Sure.
It is
And,
real.
and that's how you're going to keep your family safe, keep your pet vaccinated for
Amen.
rabies.
Well, any last words? Y'all want to, any last comments or any last things? I know, just pushing the volunteers.
And adopt.
Yeah, she gave
Adopt,
it to us.
volunteer,
Adopt,
spay, neuter.
spay and neuter,
absolutely.
adopt.
We talk about we cannot adopt our way out of the pet overpopulation problem.
Right.
We can certainly make a dent, but not adopt alone. It's a
I think
spay, neuter.
education is probably the
Education,
number
yeah,
one thing.
yeah.
And thank y'all for setting up at these events and educating folks. And anybody that wants to reach out and look at your Facebook page and talk to any of y'all, I mean, thank y'all so much. I wasn't sure about the right questions to ask, but you have brought a lot of education to us, and I thank you so much for taking the trip from Patrick County to come out here, especially
Absolutely.
in these rainy times.
We will talk to anybody anytime
Well,
about
thank you. Well,
about
hopefully,
animals.
hopefully come back next
thank you.
time.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, next time I hope I can get some pictures from the Patrick County shelter page or something. We need to show more of those.
Sure.
We've done it for Henry County. We need to do it for Patrick County, and just push and push and push and let people know that these little furry friends need a home.
They do.
Yeah, old or young, they need a home.
They're out there.
So thank you so much,
Right,
Dana.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Lynn,
having
so
us.
much.
Yes, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank
Thank you
Thanks.
for the conversation.
Yes, thank you for the conversation.
Thanks for
Yeah.
letting us
Thanks
bring
for
our
the
critters.
Are they named? Did you name them, or are
We
they just-
have named one of them. I named Stuart after
That's-
Stuart. Stuart, but it's actually Stuart for the town, but also
Nice.
Stuart, our dear friend at the food pantry, at the
Okay,
food bank.
cool.
So,
Yeah.
so the kitty cat's named Stuart.
Stuart. Does
Yeah.
doggy have a
And I
name?
think the dog is Baxter.
Oh, Baxter. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Peckerhead says, thank y'all for coming out. He's not chipped, but he's adopted. Y'all have a good one.
You all be real and
you.
come on back.
Come on back.